Rex.
Yeah, that was
Rex is
I
back.
love this. I love so many. I took a business class a couple years ago, and just learning the word value and how many things people can do that bring value. And I feel like what you're talking about with unpaid work is so valuable. It's the glue that keeps a marriage and a home together. It gives kids memories. I mean, it's the most important thing. How did you come up with the term unpaid work?
So I didn't come up with it. There's a lot of research going on about invisible labor, unpaid work, division of household chores. So I didn't come up with it. So, but I love it because it names something.
You recognized it.
And it allows us to value, like you were saying, Rex, to value it by naming it. And there are groups that are actually putting value to that unpaid work. I think a stay-at-home parent, being paid for their work would be, I think, $190,000 a year if they were to be paid
easily.
Yeah. Then that's probably low. So yeah. It's helpful to have language to talk about things. Actually makes it visible and valuable.
Do a lot of people overlook that though? Is this
absolutely?
Yeah. And they just like, oh, you're just at home putting in a DVD. You're fine. What are you talking about?
Right.
How do you help? Go ahead.
It's the who are the teachers? Who's the doctor? When is their checkup? When is their dental appointment? Whose birthday is coming up? Who have we sent Christmas cards? Right? like cooking, cleaning. Do we have food? Do we have who's making the menus? On and on.
Yeah. There's like knowing what Billy wants for Christmas and what Sally wants for Christmas, and knowing what Dad likes to eat for dinner and what Billy likes to eat for dinner.
Yeah.
There's so many touch points there, and it's priceless, really. And I mean that in the best sense of the word, that it's like you couldn't even buy it. It's so valuable.
Yeah.
How do you help people recognize this, what they're not seeing?
Talking about it openly, like on this podcast, right? Because once people grasp the idea, like, oh, there's this invisible work that goes on that's unpaid that nobody even sees, but it is actually, it's stressful and it's heavy and it's a lot. And so I think just having public conversations about it is really, really important. I share a lot on social media about partnership in families, and so I'm trying to help people become more aware of the value of the invisible labor and the unpaid work.
Which platform do you use the most, and how could people find that?
Yeah, mostly Instagram at Dr. Julie Hanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check that out. How did you, what brought on this passion to start this and really call attention to it and kind of be the champion of it?
My own journey with my partner to try and figure this out in a way that we could have a happy, healthy family life and 2 careers and hobbies and friends and fun and so it was really my own journey of like, there's got to be a way to do this differently where it's not so where the woman isn't suffering. Like my goal was motherhood without suffering. Like, I mean, there's labor, there's delivery, there's hard parts, but without unnecessary suffering, And so, I did my PhD dissertation. I created this partnership model of family organization as part of my, PhD project. My dissertation chair said, write about what you know. And I was like, okay, I know how to kind of manage, you know what I mean? Like work with a partner to create something that I haven't seen a lot in kind of in real life, and so I kind of mapped out these eight C's of partnership families and how we could organize families differently in a way that supported all family members' dreams and goals.
Have you had a couple or like a story where you've shared this or helped a couple where it clicked and you're like, oh, this is so amazing to watch? Is there anything you could share?
Oh, I have a couple that I've worked with. I don't have a specific story, but it's been amazing to watch them go from, well, what do from the husband saying, well, what can I do? What needs to be done? To him actually owning big chunks of family life, right? Like he cleans the kitchen every day. He, works on with two of the kids' homework. Right? Like where he's owned it instead of just like, well, tell me what to do. He's now a partner. And here's the thing that I think a lot of men don't realize. That is where relationships are built, in the daily interactions. And so what he's found is that his relationship with his family, his wife, is better, and with his children is better because he's actually doing the direct caregiving instead of just being, like the sidekick, right? And so I think men are really missing out on that direct caring for other people when they're not participating in the unpaid work, because that's where the relationships are built.
I love that. It reminds me, Julie.
Yeah, I had him
something that Lynn
actually
Scoresby,
for a
BYU
class,
professor, way back in the day. Oh, did you? The purpose of the task is to strengthen the relationship. I remember him saying that. I'll never forget the purpose of the task. It's not
and
even
I say it. It's never about the task. It's always about the relationship. So yeah, I love that, and I think that's so true because ultimately, why we do all of these things, why we go to work, why we take care of a home and family is so to facilitate relationships. So we have a home to have memories in. So we have meals to sit together and talk. So we have resources to go on family vacations. Like the point is relationships is not going and doing these things. It's to facilitate connection. And that's really what it's about.
That's the word that pops in my head when you were talking about that is the word sacrifice, because a lot of people, and I would guess the paid worker doesn't want to sacrifice their leisure. Do you ever have to help them like see like you're not really sacrificing, you're actually enriching and building something, and that's going to be more rewarding than you can imagine?
Yes, I've often said, think about what you're going to be thinking on your deathbed. Will you be saying like, oh, I wish I played pickleball more, or I wish I'd cycled more? Like nobody says that. Like they say, I wish I spent more time with my loved ones. That's what everybody says. And so we can learn from, it's like, and while I value leisure and people should have leisure, that's not where people get the most joy in life. It's from the connections, and it's from playing pickleball with people, right? Like it's from that. And so, yeah, I think I often think like, okay, what am I going to like when I'm taking my last breath, will I have regrets about where I spent my time? And so that kind of helps me focus on like, okay, what really does matter today?
That is so true because nobody says that on their last, when they have those last few minutes, they just wish for more time with more people.
Right.
Because that really is the most valuable thing.
Right.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for sharing this today. Really appreciate it and taking the time to answer a couple of my questions.
Of course. My pleasure. So it's such an important topic, and it affects everyone, literally everyone, just dividing up and even everyone. Like single parent or gay couples. It's like everybody has to figure out who's going to do what. How are we going to take care of the things that need to be done?
Right.
Yep. True.
To create this happy life, to create this happy foundation. Right.
Right.
It's beautiful, or at least a successful one.
Thank you.
Good for you. I love that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Happy
for taking the
holidays.
time. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Julie.
Thanks for joining us today. Hey, do us a favor and take a second to subscribe to our podcast and the Utah Marriage Commission YouTube channel at Utah Marriage Commission, where you can watch this and every episode of the show. Be sure to smash the like button, leave a comment, and share this episode with a friend. You can also follow and interact with us on Instagram at Stronger Marriage Life and Facebook at Stronger Marriage. So be sure to share with us which topics you loved or which guests we should have on the show next. If you want even more resources to improve your marriage or relationship connection, visit strongermarriage.org, where you'll find free workshops, e-courses, in-depth webinars, relationship surveys, and more. Each episode of Stronger Marriage Connection is hosted and sponsored by the Utah Marriage Commission at Utah State University. And finally, a big thanks to our producer, Rex Polanis, and the team at Utah State University, and you, our audience. You make this show possible. The opinions, findings, conclusions, and recommendations expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of the Utah Marriage Commission.